If you want to break into AI product management in 2026, which is one of the most in demand and best compensated roles in the entire tech industry right now, then this video is going to give you the exact roadmap to do it. Now, here's the thing though, most people who want to become AI PMs are going about it completely backwards. They're trying to learn every single AI concept before they even ship anything. They are collecting certificates, taking courses after courses, and building zero real world experience. And then they wonder why they're not getting callbacks. Now, I've seen this pattern over and over again, and I want to save you from falling into the same trap. The path to become an AI product manager is actually clearer than you think. You just need somebody to lay it out honestly, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm Ishwarya Srinivasan, and I've spent the last 10 years working in ML and AI. I have a master's in data science from Columbia University, and I've worked as a data scientist at Microsoft, Google, and IBM. I've also led developer relations at Fireworks AI, and currently I'm building two startups. One is in stealth, and the other one is called the Gen Academy. And the Gen Academy is an AI skill building platform focused on teaching the real things that teams need to build in production in AI engineering. And I aim to just share everything that I know about this space because I genuinely want more people to get into it and build with it. So let's jump right in. Now, before I give you the roadmap, I need you to spend a few minutes on something most videos skip entirely. I want to talk about what has really changed about the product management role. Because AI PM in 2026 is a fundamentally different job than it was 2 or 3 years ago. And if you're preparing with advice from 2022 or 2023, you're training for a role that barely exists anymore. Now, the bar for technical depth has gone up significantly. Back in 2022, being an AI PM meant you could speak intelligently about models and work with data teams. That was genuinely differentiating then. In 2026, hiring teams expect you to have hands-on familiarity with full AI product stack, whether it's prompting, whether it's RAG, agents, eval, everything. Not deep enough for you to build it yourself, but deep enough that you don't slow your teams down. Now, AI PMs are now expected to own the full feedback loop, including evals. In the past, PMs would hand this off to data scientists who handled model performance. Now, the PMs are expected to define what good looks like for the AI feature, design the evaluation framework, and monitor it post-launch. Now, that requires a level of rigor that most traditional PM training does not prepare you for. This is the biggest shift I've seen. Agentic AI has completely changed what shipping even means. 2 years ago, an AI feature was mostly a text box that called an API. Now you're shipping systems that take actions, agents that browse the web, write and execute code, coordinate across tools, and operate with real autonomy. Now that changes everything about how you think about failure modes, user trust, and product design. The job now requires you to think like a system designer, not as a feature owner. Then responsible AI is no longer a nice to have. Things like hallucinations, bias, unintended automations, these aren't edge cases that you can revisit in V2. These are core design constraints from day one. The AI PMs getting hired right now are the ones who already have a framework for thinking about this. Keep all of that in mind as we go through the roadmap. This is a ground up guide for what the role actually looks like today. So step 0 is mastering the core product management first. Roughly about 2 months. Before we touch AI, I need you to hear me on this. You cannot skip the fundamentals of product management. I don't care how excited you are about LLMs. If you don't know how to write a PRD, define a user story, think in terms of metrics, or run a discovery sprint, you're not going to be efficient as an AI PM full stop. AI is the what. Product management is the how. The companies hiring AI PMs right now are not just looking for people who understand the models, they're looking for people who can translate messy, ambiguous user problems into clear product specifications and who happen to also understand AI well enough to know what is feasible. Now, practically speaking, I would say read Inspired by Marty Kagan. I would say spend some time with Lenny Raczewski's newsletter and actually build something real. It could be a personal project, a side tool, anything where you can go deep into the full product loop. Define the problem, decide on the solution, build it, measure whether it worked, and iterate. That end-to-end ownership is what makes product managers good and what makes an AI PM great. This would be about 6 to 8 weeks if you're focused and consistent. Write at least one full PRD for a product that you want to build. This is the part that most people skip, but don't be that person. Then step 1 is learn the AI basics, but keep it practical. Now, this is where either people overcomplicate things or way undershoot. You don't need to know how to implement a transformer from scratch. but you do need to understand the concepts well enough to have a real conversation with your engineering team. Now, what I would recommend is understand what a model is, what inference and training mean, the difference between fine tuning and prompting, what is a vector database and why it matters for RAG, and how latency affects user experience. These aren't deeply technical concepts, these are vocabulary of modern AI product development. The moment you can walk into a product review and say that, have you thought about the latency trade off if we go with a larger model here? Engineers will trust you and stakeholders will also trust you. Now, here is where you can learn these things. Andrei Karpathy's Neural Networks Zero to Hero is great for real intuition. Then Deep Learning AI's short courses for applied concepts is great. Pick the ones on LLMs, agents, and RAG. And spend hands-on time on OpenAI Playground, Claude, and at least one vector database. Reading alone would not cut it, so do touch the tools. Then step 2, develop product intuition for AI. I would say you can run this in parallel with step 1. This step is underrated. Product intuition for AI is a specific skill because AI features behave probabilistically. The output is not always the same. That changes how you think about user experiences, edge cases, and what done even means. Spend serious time with AI product not as a user but as a PM. Open ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Notion AI and ask yourself what problem are they solving. What's the fallback when the model gets it wrong? How is the company handling hallucinations in the UI? Where is the AI genuinely valuable versus where is it sounding like a gimmick? Then go one level deeper. You need to start prompting deliberately. So try to break the product. Think about what the system prompt might look like. That habit of structured curiosity will make you a significantly better AI PM than somebody who just reads about AI in tech blogs. I would say about 3 to 4 weeks of deliberate deconstruction, one product per week, is enough to build real intuition. And run it in parallel with step 1 so you're not losing time. Then step 3, build and ship a tiny AI product. If there is one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's this. You need to ship something. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to go viral. It just needs to be real. When you ship even a small AI product, you learn things that no course can ever teach you. You learn that prompts are brittle and they can break in production. You learn that latency matters way more than you expected. You learn that users don't interact with AI features the same way that you designed it. All of that is gold. So here are a few ideas. Build a Gen AI resume assistant which takes a job description and a candidate's background and drafts a tailored resume or a cover letter. It touches prompt engineering, user input handling, and a real user experience trade-off. Or build a customer feedback analyzer which takes a CSV of reviews, runs them through an LLM, and surfaces the theme and sentiment. That's exactly the kind of AI workflow enterprise teams are buying right now. Or you could even build a RAG-powered knowledge-based search over a set of documents, which shows that you understand the full AI pipeline and solves a real enterprise problem. The deliverable isn't just a working prototype, it's the PRD that you wrote before you actually build it. The design decisions that you made and why, and what you would do differently in V2. That package is your portfolio. That's what gets you hired. Now, week 1 is your PRD. Week 2 through 5 are building and iterating. And week 6 onwards is going to be documenting your decisions and preparing to talk about it in your interview. Then step 4, I would say, learn about ML ops or LLM ops and AI infrastructure. This is where a lot of aspiring AI PMs tap out because it sounds intimidating. But you don't need to be a ML engineer to do it. You need to be a PM who asks the right question about the infrastructure that your team is building on. I would say start with understanding model evaluation and how to define what good looks like in your use case. Understand the latency trade-off. A larger model might give you better output, but it can be 3 times the inference cost and 2 times the response time. Then understand observability. How do you know if your AI feature is actually working in production? What are you logging? What are you monitoring? And have a working framework for responsible AI, not just in the abstract, but actually a practical one. What are the failure modes for your product? What happens when something gets wrong? Who is affected and how bad can it get? These questions will come up in every serious product review at every company building AI right now. Some of the resources that I would recommend is ML Engineering for Production Specialization on Coursera. Then step 5, I would say get visible. You need to network, you need to share, and you need to apply. This is the uncomfortable truth. Your skills alone won't get you hired. You need visibility. So please start sharing your work publicly. You can either post your PRD on LinkedIn, write a short breakdown of an AI product that you analyzed. You don't need to have a massive following for this. You just need the right people to see it. And consistency is what builds that. I would say get into good communities. I'll add some of the recommended communities also in the description below. And I have a final piece of advice on this. Please apply before you feel ready. If you have shipped something, you have the PM fundamentals. So I would say start early. Even if you fail a few interviews, it doesn't matter because that's going to be a learning experience for you to figure out what people are actually asking in these interviews. And then you can actually prepare really, really hard for the next one. Now, a realistic view of this full journey is going to take you about 10 to 15 hours a week and roughly 4 to 5 months to go from zero to interview ready. It is not going to happen overnight or in a few days. Now, here you see a quick recap of the entire roadmap. Do remember what's different in 2026 is that the bar is very high, the role is broader, and agentic AI has changed what shipping actually means. The candidates getting hired right now aren't the ones who know the most theory, they are the ones who understand what has changed in AI products. Everything that I mentioned today, including the courses, resources, tools, and communities, is linked in the description below. If this was helpful, please do subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out what's coming next. I post regularly about AI and ML career development, free resources, technical deep dives, and what it's actually like navigating a career in AI in the US, being an immigrant. And one more thing, if you're serious about mastering agentic AI systems, Arvind Narayanan, my co-founder, and I have built a deep dive mastering agentic AI bootcamp at Gen Academy. It's hands-on, it's production-focused, and it's exactly the kind of learning that bridges the gap between watching tutorials and actually building real systems. The link is again in the description below, so definitely go check it out. Also, drop a comment and tell me, where are you in your journey right now? Are you just getting started or are you actively building your first AI product? I do read every single comment and I genuinely want to know. Great, then I'll see you in the next one.